Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with this week's Let's Talk Television. Alright, so welcome to this week's episode of Let's Talk Television, episode 3. So we're already 3 weeks in here. I would like to apologize. This series is a Saturday series. That's what I want it to be. I want these episodes to come out Saturday. This week I was really busy. Yesterday I had a lot of things. I was gone basically for the whole day. I wasn't even home. And I planned to actually pre-record the episode, but then I felt like it wouldn't be as authentic if I'm doing it beforehand and I'm pretending that it's Saturday, whatever. So I just decided I'm gonna do it Sunday, which is today. I'm gonna do it a day later, and hopefully that'll be okay. Hopefully that'll work. So anyways, I do like to apologize for that. Going forward, these should be every Saturday. It was just this weekend. I was just really busy. I wasn't even home until late last night, and by the time I recorded, uploaded, and all that, it would have been today anyways. It would have been Sunday. So anyways, guys, let's get into the episode this week. As you can tell in the title, today's discussion will be about The Walking Dead. I did mention this last episode where I said that I want to focus on this topic a little bit more. Is The Walking Dead back? That's sort of, the statement that I'm going to be talking about. And yeah, so that, of course, after this, then we'll get to a little bit of a segment called Something I Like and Something I Don't Like. And then after that, we'll get to the question and answer segment, which, provides a little bit more discussion about either this topic or, just other topics in the world of television this week. So, yeah, or not even this week. It can be really anything, about the channel, anything. So, I didn't receive that many questions this week, which I understand, right? Not every episode is gonna, have a lot of people asking questions and whatever. But I did get a lot of support on the last episode, so I really appreciate that. A lot of likes, a lot of comments, talking about the American Crime Story, the topic I was talking about. So, yeah, I really appreciate that. Even, and there's a few people on there that didn't, that disagreed with me, that thought, otherwise. And I totally respect that. I mean, I really appreciate that. If, even if you don't agree with me, please comment, let me know, try to convince me otherwise. And honestly, this person actually did convince me otherwise at some point. So, yeah, I really appreciate that. The channel has just been crazy. I mean, I got Superhero 2.0 is his channel name. I just want to give him a shout out here because he gave me a shout out over on his channel, and that's gotten me some subscribers too. So just really recently I've been getting a lot of support over the last 2 weeks with a lot of my videos, and I think I gotten 10 subscribers in the last week, which is insane because usually I'm used to maybe 1 or 2 a week, if that, right? And the channel's just been going so much lately. I think we're at 77 as of recording this, so that's crazy. So I really appreciate that. But anyways, yeah, so if you want to send in question and answers, I will say this later in the video, but I just want to say it now for those of you who may not make it to the end of this one. Please just comment down below on this video. Questions can be about anything, mainly television, television, maybe film, maybe about the channel. Ask what I'm reviewing next. What do I think of this show? Have I checked this one out? Stuff like that. I think I have a couple questions about that today. And yeah, so just leave your question in the comments below, and then I will read them next week on Saturday for episode 4. So, anyways, let's get into this topic. Okay, so The Walking Dead is my favorite TV show on the air. I just want to come out and say that right now, so you know that there is going to be some bias here, of course, right? I'm not looking at this, from an objective point of view, right? Because I do love the show, so there will be some bias here, but I still think I still have some opinions and definitely some arguments that I'd like to get out there. And then, of course, like I said at the beginning, please comment if you don't agree with me. Let me know. If you do agree with me and you kind of see what I'm saying, then say that as well. So, anyways, the question is The Walking Dead back? Now, I said this in last week's video, I think, with I think Greg asked me the question. And he said, what do you think about the people saying that it's back? Well, I think that it is back per se. I think it is really good right now, but I don't think it was ever gone. It was never gone. People are saying, that The Walking Dead is dead and all this stuff last year and even the beginning of this year. They're saying, oh, The Walking Dead's dead, no pun intended, of course. But anyways, they're saying it's dead. The show's kind of gone. It's kind of, going by the wayside. And now people are saying, oh, well, it's back. Well, I disagree with that. I don't think it was ever gone. I just think that it went through a little bit of a time there where it did, yes, I totally agree. It did get worse. It did get a little bit boring. It wasn't up to the typical Walking Dead standards, right? And that's season 7, of course. That's what I'm referring to. And even the beginning of season 8. I'm going to be honest. Season 8, the beginning half was not the greatest, right? In my opinion. So, anyways, and I see people who are, like, in love with season 7. It's their favorite season of the show. And that's the good thing about television, right? All shows, it's all subjective, right? People are going to think certain ways, and that's what I want, to get out of this too, right? Is it subjective? If I like something, that doesn't mean you have to like it, and whatever. So, anyways, ever since the beginning of season 7, right, people have been saying it's dead. Pretty much season 7, right? I mean, season 6, some people were getting disinterested, but a lot of people still think that is, the best season, the best overall season of The Walking Dead, and I tend to agree. I would say probably season 6, season 5, and season 2 were probably my favorites. I know a lot of people didn't like season 2, but I really, really loved it. I loved the Shane and Rick dynamic. I mean, yeah, there were some episodes in there that I didn't love, but there were definitely some good storylines that I did really, really like there. But anyways, season 7, it still consistently got like 7 million viewers was like the lowest they had. And to be honest here, like 7 million viewers is a lot more than a lot of shows right now on the air. Like, a lot of shows. I mean, The Walking Dead has been, I would say, the most popular show for a while now. Maybe not anymore as they used to, right? But for a while there, like season 5, season 4, season 6 area, it was a huge show. Everyone knew about it. They got 17 million viewers on the season 7 premiere for the whole, who did Negan kill thing. So, yeah, like, really? And you're going to say that The Walking Dead was dead when it's still even getting 7 million viewers. Like, that's more than a lot of shows, even combined, I would say, get. Like, and AMC isn't, one of those, huge ones like HBO or Showtime or something like that. Like, it's a cable, channel and whatever. And The Walking Dead has been huge for them. It's been massive. So, anyways, right there, I think that kind of proves that it wasn't dead. It was just a little bit more unpopular, right? Because before that, they were averaging about 10 million, maybe 9, right? Somewhere in there for season 6, those, like, episodes there. Somewhere in between there. So, yeah, it did dip, right? It did dip a little low, and that was, like, the lowest it's been since, I think, season 3, something like that. So, and he also had good ratings, too. I don't have the exact numbers for those. I could look those up, but honestly, I mean, like, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, they have always had pretty good ratings. So, good ratings, you have 7 million viewers still, and some episodes were very entertaining in season 7. I mean, you had the finale, heart still beating. You had the mid-season finale, which was okay. Spencer's death, of course, and that's the episode where Rick kind of turns here and kind of, starts all-out war, pretty much, right? But the first half of season 7, I will agree, I did not really like it at all. I didn't think there was even maybe one redeeming episode in that half, maybe except the finale, the mid-season finale. I will give you that. I will give you that, because I don't know what they did, honestly, but that's kind of like the start of, and it was meant to be like that, though. It wasn't meant to be an enjoyable half, right? Because it was supposed to show, how Negan has controlled them and all that stuff. They're, under his reign. They're not living, very good lives here. And so that whole half was basically set up so that we could hate Negan even more, and that finally Rick could, realize that they need to fight back against him. And I think the problem was there that they took too long with that sort of story arc or that storyline, when they could have done that in maybe about 4 episodes instead of 8. So that's what I think is wrong for most people, and that's why a lot of people say that season 7 wasn't great. But I think season 7, the second half, has some really good episodes in there. Like I said, the finale, I mean, that's a good episode. Like, that wasn't Heart Still Beating is the mid-season finale. The last one is, is it the first day of the rest of your lives? I think that's the finale of season 7. So, anyways, the finale was very good. There were some other ones in the second half of season 7 that were good. So I don't agree. I don't agree that it was ever gone or that it was ever dead. Yeah, you had a season that wasn't the greatest, you know? The whole storyline is just not meant to be enjoyable as the other stuff, right? Like, Rick and them taking out all the zombies or all the walkers in Alexandria. That's enjoyable. But being under the reign of Negan for half a season is not. And that was just the way it was. So, I think the storyline plays a lot into this rather than the actual show quality going down or the writing going down. Although I will give you something, though, that the beginning of season 8... and season 7, the writing was a little bit off at times, and I felt like the quality went a little bit down. So I will give you that, but like I feel like it was mainly because of the storylines and the story arcs that they were playing out. So, anyways, and to me personally, season 8B, the second half of season 8, may be the best half of the show so far. That's a big claim. That's a big claim because we've had over 100 episodes now of The Walking Dead, and there's been, well, now after this one finishes, there's been, 16 halves? I guess season 1, they didn't really have a half, so, yeah, I would say maybe 15 halves then if you count season 1 as just a half. But yeah, so there's been about 15 halves of the show, half seasons of the show, and I honestly think this one might be the best. You've had, so much action. The key, episode 12, was kind of like the start of all that. You've had the fighting, the battles that have been fought, even just between Rick and Negan, right, in the key episode there. And this is what we have waited for so long, right? We've waited for these battles to happen, Rick confronting Negan like this, and all this stuff happening. We've been waiting for it ever since season 6, right? Ever since that finale where Negan steps out of the RV, right? That's, we've been waiting for it for that long. And I think maybe too long, right? And I think that's one of the issues as well is, for people who are watching the show, especially casual viewers, I refer to those, that group a lot, but there's a lot of them, I would say, for any show out there. I feel like there's a lot of casual viewers. But anyways, and by casual viewers, I mean, like, people who don't really... they know the names of the characters, but, and they know kind of what's going on, but they don't really pay attention that much. They kind of just watch for the action, the entertainment, and all that, and they don't really care about character development and stuff like that. That's what I mean by a casual viewer. But anyway, especially for that group of people, and just, main viewers as well that pay attention to the show, are really in love with it. I feel like they waited a little bit too long for this stuff. I feel like season 8, the second half, could have happened in the first half of season 8, and that's another problem I see as well with people saying it's dead, is because they waited a little bit too long to introduce all this stuff that we've been waiting for. Yeah, they did a good job of villainizing Negan, making us hate him and all that, and the saviors in general, but I think they did a little bit too much of it, now to the point where we're expecting way more than they're going to give us. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my point of view there. But honestly, season 8B, like, you've had the death of Carl, episode 9. I felt like that is definitely in my top 10 best episodes. You had the Carolyn Morgan part in that episode. You had Carl's death, and they did that just amazingly. I mean, I would say it's perfectly done. It was perfection, to me at least, that whole episode. In terms of Carl. So yeah, I thought that was a really good send-off. Then you have episode 10, not bad, right? And then you have episode 11, where that, Daryl's taking the guys back to the hilltop there. Yeah, with that group, and that was good. That was, Dr. Carson and Gabriel. You have episode 12, The Key, with Rick and Negan. Everyone loved that episode, including me. I really, really loved it. I mean, there were some things that were off, but the entertainment and action, definitely there, right? And that's what we want to see. Episode 13, obviously the battle there, right, in the first half of the episode there, the little battle with the saviors in the hilltop there, and then you get episode 14, which was still got to mean something. That was last week. The whole Morgan and Rick ruthlessness scene there, taking out all the saviors. So yeah, some really, really good episodes this half. And honestly, I think depending on the finale and tonight's episode as well, episode 15. I think this half can be the best half season that The Walking Dead has ever done. And if that's the case, I don't think that The Walking Dead is dead, right? I think it is back, and I don't even think, and again, I don't think it's back. I think it's still The Walking Dead. I think the writing has gone better. The whole storyline, in itself has gotten better, right, with the writers and all that stuff. And now, yeah, The Walking Dead is back to its, its peak back in season 5. And that's another thing too, right? I think the writers got to consider moving forward now, especially if they do, sorry for the spoilers for the comics, but the Whisperers is the next sort of, enemy for them in the comic books at least. They might change it up in the show, I don't know. But anyways, if they do the Whisperers and, other future battles against, other groups, I think this is a learning curve for them, because the governor, that was basically taken in about a season and a half, maybe even less than that, because you really only had that whole setup for the second half of season 3, and then you only had it for like the last 3 episodes of the first half of season 4. So in total, you probably only had about 10 or 11 episodes there with the governor being against Rick, right? That was about it. And this one, we've already had a season, 2 seasons, right, based on this. So, anyways, that's the difference there. But pretty much, what I'm saying is that it's a learning curve for the writers here, because in the future, they got to speed this up a little bit, I think. That's what they need to learn from this, is that if they're going to take 2 whole seasons to basically make this, a Rick against the Saviors or a Rick against another group and get us to hate this group even more and stuff, they're going to have to do it quicker, because a lot of viewers are not patient enough. They just want to see, the villain taken out and then it to be over and then move on, right? That's what they want to see, but they didn't do that this time, right? So I think in the future, I think that they're going to learn from this, and they're going to say, well, okay, maybe we only spend a season or maybe a season and a half on this group and, get them to battle and whatever, and then kind of finish it up, make them move on, maybe, keep a couple, keep the storyline going a little bit, have mini battles afterwards, but have the main battle and the main takeout of the main villain earlier in the show, rather than waiting another season, right? So that's what I'm thinking, and in my mind, I'm thinking of the Whisperers right now, right? I think they're going to implement this with them, because apparently the Whisperers are even tougher group, and it takes even longer in the comics to defeat them. So if they do that again in the show, honestly, I don't know what's going to happen to the show. I feel like it's going to be not a good result, let's just say, because, again, they need to learn from this, and I do not seeing this being a one-time thing. Like, this is going to happen again if they do it again. So, anyways, overall, like I said, I don't think it was ever gone. I think it just kind of hit a low point in terms of the storyline that they had. It wasn't really the writers or the quality of the show, right, going down, although you had some parts there. But, there's always been quality issues and a little bit, of writing mishaps in the show before. Like, there's been many of those in the show. It's just that they're, noticing them and pinpointing them more now because we have other things to complain about. You know what I mean? So, there's always going to be those issues in any show that you watch, right? There's, that's just going to happen. It's human error, right? So, anyways, overall, like I said, it was never gone for me. It just hit a little bit of a low point in terms of a storyline aspect there. And now Season 8B is maybe even the best half of The Walking Dead that I have seen so far. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to Season 9. I know a lot of people are kind of skeptical now because Scott Gimple is gone. Angela Kang is the new showrunner here. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited for it. And I hope all fans of The Walking Dead are. I think it's going to be a great season. And I think the finale of this season is going to be epic. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's almost going to be a 2-hour episode. Like, it's going to be huge, guys. And I'll definitely have my review, of course, for that one as well. So, anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for this. Now, let me get to my next segment. Alright, so now I'm going to go over something I like and something I don't like. But in terms of this week, I actually have 2 things I like again. I know I'm staying really positive with this show, I guess. but anyways, yeah. So I have 2 things I like this week. I just those are just 2 things that I found and I want to talk about. So yeah, 2 things I like in this one. So first thing, something I like. Peter Jackson in talks to serve as the executive producer on Amazon's Lord of the Rings series. Okay, so, an executive producer, I guess, right? Because, there's going to be others as well. So, this is very interesting. So, of course, we've heard of the Lord of the Rings series, right? On Amazon. They bought the rights to it. And so, essentially, now there's news about Peter Jackson now serving as an executive producer for the show, for the series. So this article is from News Hub, who presented this, I guess. who kind of broke the story. Maybe they're not. There's probably something, another person out there or another news outlet that did it as well. But I just found this one. So the News Hub article reads, Sir Peter Jackson, he's a sir, is reportedly in talks with Amazon about potentially having a role on its upcoming Lord of the Rings TV show. The Kiwi has, the Kiwi, so he's Australian, I guess. So, the Kiwi filmmaker had no involvement with Amazon's original deal with the Tolkien estate, according to the Hollywood Reporter, but his lawyer Peter Nelson has helped start a dialogue between them, okay? It's still not clear with what the narrative of the series will focus on, but it's said to be a prequel to the Oscar-winning original trilogy, okay? And obviously Peter Jackson was involved in that, Oscar-winning original trilogy. The Lord of the Rings TV show is set to be a hugely expensive project. Amazon already reportedly spent $250 million just for the rights to it, okay? Just for the rights. That's nothing. That's not the cast, writing, nothing. They literally just bought the rights to have the name and to do the show, okay? Now, the Hollywood Reporter article claims when production expenses like casting, producers, and visual effects are factored in, the series is expected to cost north of $1 billion. Wow, like that's crazy, and that's pretty much the main points of the article here. But I wanted to include some of these other parts that they talk about. Outside of the Peter Jackson stuff. So overall, Peter Jackson being involved is really good news. Obviously he was, huge involvement in the original ones. So I think him being, involved in this, the TV show is going to be really awesome, to use that expertise that he's gotten from the original trilogy then, and kind of implement it here. And I think the show's going to be so much better with him involved. And it's interesting though that he wasn't, officially attached to it when they bought the rights, but now he's kind of thinking like, wow, I kind of want to get in on this, right? Like, I want to get in on this series, and be involved in it. So I think this is great news. I think this broke, I think Wednesday or Thursday this week. I'm not exactly sure, but it was somewhere in there, that this news broke. So should be interesting. I mean, maybe by now he actually has committed. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't really seen anything more about it. But yeah, so, and I also know that, the Tolkien estate, they gave the rights to them, with a condition that they started, producing or started filming the TV show within 2 years. So that's kind of like the main goal for the show as of now. Yeah, so personally, I really enjoyed Lord of the Rings. Obviously, I really loved the movies. I actually personally like The Hobbit better, the trilogy of The Hobbit movies better. But yeah, I really like both. Really big fan of that. So to learn that, Peter Jackson may be, involved in this TV show series, which I'm really, really looking forward to. I'm really excited about. It's gonna be very interesting. I think it's, really great news. And I think if he actually does, if he does get, end up serving as an executive producer or producer, just anything like involved in the project, I think it's going to be better for the series, for the TV show, and in general. So yeah, and we also know that Ian McKellen has committed to it. I think, right? I think that's like news that came out a while ago, like when the rights were bought. I think that he announced that he would come back for the series. So and you kind of need him, right? I mean, he's Gandalf, right? He's the biggest, kind of recognizable character. So yeah, I think you kind of need him, and that's good that he's also committed to it as well. So yeah, great thing there, great news, and that is something I like from this week of television. So, something I like, again, like I said, 2 likes this week, again, the Crossing pilot episode. Okay, so, my review has been up for, I think, 2 weeks now, or no, not 2 weeks, but like a week and a half now, because I did get to see it a little bit earlier. But this episode did air on Monday, so it's within the week of television that I'm looking at for this week. Really, really great pilot episode. I'm really looking forward to the rest of this season, and the series. Hopefully they got more than one season, right? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the pilot episode. It has all the makings of a great show, in my opinion. Some parts were pilot cliches, I like to say. So, for example, the part where, you have the young teenage girl, kind of falling for the young teenage boy on the other side. You have kind of like 2 sides to this now. And, the teenage boy ends up helping her a little bit, and they kind of, fall in love, whatever. So that's kind of like a pilot cliche there, where you see that a lot in pilots, and you get that relationship really early. But they added a lot of twists and turns quickly, which kept it interesting, right? A lot of stuff that isn't usually in pilots, a lot of questions raised, a lot of, just twists and everything, that we did not expect at all, just in one episode, right? Just in one episode, we saw all this. So I think my buddy Adam, he was saying that this could be the next Lost, and that's the way they're advertising it. And honestly, I don't know if it could be the next Lost, but I definitely, I'm saying, I don't think it could be the next Lost just seeing the pilot, obviously. That's not enough to go off of. But if the rest of the season is just like the pilot, honestly, I think it has the chance to be. I think this is going to be a great series. I'm in it for the long haul here. I'm going to be doing weekly reviews on the channel. Check out my review for the pilot as well if you haven't already. And that one's been getting a lot of views and a lot of comments, likes, and everything. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, really great show, and that just shows you, that a lot of people are watching it and are fans of it and want to see more. So yeah, really great stuff there. Really great series it's looking like, and the pilot was honestly probably the best pilot of the season so far for me that I've seen, at least. I guess I haven't seen that many pilots, but it was better than Trust. I think it was even better than The Terror, although I love The Terror. I'm on episode 4 right now this week. But yeah, no, I do love the Crossing pilot. I think it's going to be awesome. Steve Zahn as the main sheriff guy. Natalie Martinez, she's a phenomenal actress, I think. I think she was in Under the Dome, and she did an amazing job in that role. So I think you got a good cast here, some good writings, a really, really interesting concept, right? That's what leads the show. And like I said, I've been comparing it to the 4400. A lot of people like that. So if you like that, I really think you can really dig your teeth into this one and really get, enjoyment out of it. So yeah, I really suggest this to anyone, even if you know that you've seen the advertisements, you're like, I'm not really into that. Really, I do suggest you check it out. At least check out the pilot, see what you think, because I think you're going to be blown away just like I was. So that is another thing I like from this week of television. So now I'm going to move on to the question and answer segment for this week. Two of these questions or sort of statements were from last week's episode, so episode 2, and then I also stuck one on here from episode 1 because I didn't quite get enough questions last episode. So I have 3 now, for this one. So yeah, shouldn't be a too long of a segment this week. In the future, I'm looking to have 3 or 4 questions usually, and then I can kind of dig into each one and kind of answer and talk about the answer as well, not just read it, answer quickly, right? I want to talk a little bit about it. So anyways, guys, first question here comes from my buddy Shane St. Laurent. He's a pretty loyal guy of the channel here, so I really appreciate that, and his channel is awesome too. Check him out. So anyways, his question is, I'm much more interested in the next 2 stories they want to tell with this show. So this was on last week's episode, so of course he's referring to American Crime Story here, and he says, I'm much more interested in the next 2 stories that this show they want to tell. So I totally agree, man. I totally agree. So I think season 3, they said that it's going to focus on George Bush and Katrina and all that stuff, right? And how, maybe that, situation wasn't handled correctly. Maybe it was even criminal, what was going on there. So that's going to be interesting. And then season 4, they have Bill Clinton and the Lewinsky case there as well. So very interesting, right? I think the next two seasons are going to be really awesome. This season, as I shared my thoughts in last week's episode, I didn't think was that great. I thought it was actually quite a bit of a disappointment. But the next 2 seasons, like Shane said, I totally agree. I think they're going to be awesome. 2 stories that are really, really popular. I mean, anyone who was alive in those times probably knows, I guess, at least the names of the people in it, right? Really big stuff, in those 2 cases. This one was a little bit not as popular. And OJ is probably popular in both of these even combined. So, obviously they tackled the big one first. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next 2 stories as well. I think they're going to be awesome. I think the Katrina one's going to be very interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out in the show that maybe some people don't know. And also with the Clinton and Lewinsky one, that's maybe even more secretive than the Katrina one, right? So yeah, very interesting. And Sarah Paulson has committed on to the Katrina season. She's going to be one of the main cast members. And she was, of course, played the lawyer, or the prosecutor in the Peel vs. OJ, right? She played her. So yeah, very interesting there, and I'm really looking forward to those two next seasons. Not sure when they're going to be. They were even talking about season 3 coming out in 2018 still. because the last one they took like 2 years in between seasons. So they were thinking of shortening the time, but I don't know how that's possible. I don't know like if that's actually going to happen, but we'll probably see it in 2019 is my guess. Where with season 3 there and being that whole Katrina hurricane and all that, all the stuff that played out of that as well. So yeah, really great stuff there. Second question comes from Adam, the televisionary, also one of my good friends here on the channel, and he says Darren Criss does deserve an Emmy. I couldn't agree more. Of course, again, he says this on last episode, so it's about American Crime Story. I totally agree. Darren Criss does deserve an Emmy. I don't know who else, I said this last episode, but I don't know who else could beat him out at this point, honestly. Yeah, we got a little bit to go, right, obviously, but I don't see anyone, giving a better performance than he has on American Crime Story, or than he did, because it's now over. But crazy stuff. Darren Criss really showing off here, really showing his acting chops, and it's not easy to play a serial killer, like psychopathic character, and he did it flawlessly, I think. So Darren Criss really great. He's kind of known for the musical, and he was in Glee and all that, and now he's like taking on this role, and people were kind of skeptical. But honestly, he did an amazing job. Like, absolutely fantastic. He was definitely the standout in American Crime Story Season 2. Edgar Ramirez was pretty good as Gianni Versace as well. Don't get me wrong. But Darren Criss was definitely the standout and really stole the show. He was awesome. So, I really do think he deserves an Emmy. I'm not sure how he doesn't, right? I really think that he that's his award to lose pretty much at the Emmys. I really think that he does. So yeah, really great question or at least statement by Adam there, pointing that out. I definitely agree. Number 3 comes from Greg Rempel, one of my loyal fans as well. So anyways, his question is, and this was from episode 1, actually, he commented this one as well. He said, I'm a big fan of House of Cards on Netflix, okay, but was a bit disappointed with the recent season. Now that Spacey is out, how do you think Season 6, with Robin Wright as the sole lead, will compare to previous seasons? Okay, so I only have seen about season 1 of House of Cards, okay? So I watched it. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the actors kind of stopping and looking at the camera and talking to you. I'm not a big fan of like those type of shows where they kind of break the third wall or whatever, right? And kind of like look right at the camera. I'm not a big fan of that, and that's kind of like, kind of a little detail in the show. But anyways, I do think I'd be interested in it. I probably should watch future seasons. But yeah, so I've only seen, basically up to season 1, like somewhere in there. Not a huge fan of the show, but yeah, I do recognize that's very popular for a lot of people. And, of course, now with the news about Kevin Spacey, yeah, so he's done with House of Cards, of course. He's not going to be involved in any future seasons. And Robin Wright, of course, is his wife in the show. So yeah, I don't know. I think that it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be a mix-up, right? It'll be a lot different with just Robin Wright as the lead. It's going to be different for the actor, too, who plays her. Obviously, that's going to be to lead a show. That's a lot of work. Andrew Lincoln, example for Walking Dead, like, that's a lot of work. He hasn't done anything else in his, career in the last, 8 years because he's leading The Walking Dead. Like, it's a huge job. And I think for Robin Wright, Robin Wright is the actress. Sorry, my bad. So Robin Wright, yeah, I think that's a big job for her to do, to be the lead now of the show. And I guess before she was like a lead, but she wasn't like, the sole lead like Greg is saying here. So I think it's going to be a lot different in terms of, if it's going to be better or worse than last season. Like I said, I haven't seen last season, so I can't confirm that, but I think that's going to be very interesting and different. That's all I can really say. But yeah, crazy stuff there for Robin Wright. Kind of being thrown into this role now of being the sole lead of the show. And a lot of people like her, so I don't see, where she could just, ruin the show for people. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's still going to have popularity and all that. But of course, there's some, fans of Kevin Spacey who, yeah, of course, they enjoy his acting, probably not the other stuff, right? But they enjoy his acting, and they enjoy him as an actor. and maybe they are just going to miss him too much in the show, and maybe it's not going to be as good without him, right? Some people may feel that way, and some people may even stop watching for that. I don't know. But I think, enough people are going to stick around because they love the story and they love the, overall, show and the concept of it. And I think Robin Wright is definitely going to, she's not going to disappoint really at all. So I think that's, that's definitely something to think about. And it's going to be different. It's going to be interesting. So, Greg, please let me know what happens with that. Let me know what you think of now, with season 6 coming out. When it does come out, let me know what you think of it then. Let me know, if it is different. Maybe they stick to the same sort of storylines here. Maybe Robin Wright does disappoint a little bit. So, yeah, please let me know. That's a really great question. And I feel like if I, was up to date in House of Cards, I could obviously share a little bit more of an opinion or, an answer. But to this point, that's pretty much all I can say. So, yeah. But anyways, thank you so much for sending in the questions, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Again, to get your question on, please just comment below a question about television, film, the channel, what episodes I'm reviewing next, what shows I'm into, have I seen this, have I seen that, stuff like that. Anything really goes. So yeah, please leave a question in the comments below in this one, and I'll read it next week in episode 4. So that's how I'm going to do this. So I really appreciate Shane, Adam, and Greg, coming through and commenting again. That's really great. I really appreciate it. So anyways, guys, thank you so much. All right, so that'll just about do it for this week's Let's Talk Television, episode 3. So like I said at the beginning, I really, really appreciate the support that I've gotten on this series, but also the whole channel recently. It's been awesome. The subscribers, the likes, the comments, like everything has just been awesome. The views as well. I mean, crazy there. So really, really appreciate it. I can't thank you guys enough for that. And I really, appreciate, sticking with the series here for Let's Talk Television. I think it's going to be something really cool, something, that I can really improve on as we go on. And like I say, if you have any, criticism, you have any ideas for me, please leave those in the comments below. I'll definitely try them out, definitely do them, and improve the show as much as I can, right? That's the goal here, right? I want to make this, better and better as we go on. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Let's Talk Television. I'll be back next week on Saturday. That is the day that I want these to come out. So Saturday I will be back then with episode 4 of Let's Talk Television. I'm not sure what the topic is. You're going to have to wait to find out. But yeah, it should be another good one. So anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for sticking with me for this series and sticking with the channel. And obviously, thank you for the subscribers as well, the recent subscribers that are coming on the channel as well. So anyways, guys, again, like I said, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. And I'll see you next week for Let's Talk Television, episode 4.